But being that it's 6:30, I will call this meeting of the Values and Vision Committee to order, and I'll read the remote meeting guidance. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order, suspend certain provisions of the open meeting law and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website, www.chelmsfordmass.gov. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted at this time, but an audio or video recorded transcript or other comprehensive record of proceedings will be posted to the Chelmsford Telemedia website at www.chelmsfordtv.org and to the town's website at www.chelmsfordmass.gov as soon as possible after the meeting. And the information to join the meeting live is listed in the agenda. So the first thing I have on the agenda is the approval of the July 1st minutes that I sent out.
So move to approve the.
I'll second it.
Okay. Does anybody have any discussion? Okay.
Nope.
Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right. And I put a spot on for public comment before we got into the details. I don't see anyone from the public here, so I'll just turn it over to Aaron and Deirdre now. Do you want to just share your screen, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm just making sure the presentation is open, and let me go back to share. I think if I share the presentation, hopefully you can see it better. Okay, can you guys see?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll kind of give maybe a quick overview of my first pass at this, and then Deirdre, if we want to go ahead and kind of change live now, that's fine. And again, we can completely kind of rewrite it too. So put it together as we discussed. Put together the who the participants were and identified everybody involved. Put a little bit of background, again, trying to not do a whole lot of slides, background on what we were trying to do, what the process was, and then, articulate to the board the vision and, the values that make up the foundation of that vision, and then, what we would recommend or ask for as of next steps. So I think that was our goal of last time, to kind of try to keep it to 5 or 6 slides, and without the title slide, we're there. It's really only these last 3 that have the content. So let me go back to kind of the background, and I don't know, if you guys want to go over this or edit this or how you want to do it. Again, I'm completely open, and I will do my best to edit live for you.
So one thing I thought was maybe we should title this slide overview instead of background, just because it's kind of more comprehensive. And then I thought organizationally that if we're thinking of it as kind of overview and process, the next slide, that some of the things I thought we should maybe move around. I don't know what you guys think about this, but maybe the vision and value 2 lines on the background or overview slide maybe should move to the process. So I was kind of thinking in terms of saying overview, and then start with the number 1, which is your current first bullet, leave that as it is, except for I would probably think about replacing objective with initiative in that first bullet. And then I think that just kind of for simplicity and or consistency, that I personally think we should, every time the words vision and values are in here, I think it should be in the order of values and vision instead of vision and values, since we're the values and vision committee. So like the
Okay.
second bullet is the
Yeah.
expectation.
I'm used to doing vision first and values, but then when the committee was named, they put it in as values and vision. But it's fine. Like
Yeah,
when you present them, which do you want to present first, the values or the vision?
The vision.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact is that that's
Just when you're in the phrase, when you use the phrase, just do it consistently as values and vision.
I think so. Yeah.
Sure, that's fine. If you go back to the slide you were on, Aaron.
Yep.
Besides that change, when you put in initiative, there's a typo.
Yep.
Nope. That's
IN.
not it. It's an I after the, yeah.
Yeah, and then I would say the expectation is that the values and vision established will be the guiding
We'll be there. Yep.
principles for our citizens, blah, 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 and operations of the town, I would say. I mean, it's kind of, I don't mean to be whatever, picky. And then I would probably move number 2 in process to.
Can we hold for a second?
Sure.
So,
I'm just like, I maybe just want to give an overview and say like,
oh, okay.
I sort of feel like
Why don't you go through all your comments and then we can go back and see if.
Okay.
anybody else did.
So in the overview, I would probably put the first bullet from the process into the overview, possibly as the second overview aspect. And then for the process, I would probably, I would also move the next 2 and make them the 4th and the 5th bullets for overview. A vision statement supported by a list of guiding values, because they're not really answering the question why. So in the next one, so I would probably have 5 bullets on overview. And then for the process, I would do the first one, the committee was formed. The second one, what was the process?
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure.
The survey was completed. And then I'd probably put after that the vision and the values back from overview onto the process thing. So it's kind of.
So before we decide, just to make sure that I captured it all, we're talking about these 3 bullets based on what they say back on this slide
Overview.
here.
Yep. But
and taking these and moving them down below these.
Yeah.
Okay. I think
And
from
then
a
the other thing
flow
I'd probably take
perspective,
out,
I understand it.
I would probably take out why do it, because I just think that's a little redundant, and say just what was the process.
Yep.
And then the only other thing I would say is under values, I'm not quite, there's a couple little things under vision and values in the where they currently are under back overview, where I would move them to process. But there's a couple things in there, one of which most kind of importantly would be, I don't know about the non-negotiable adjective. I mean, I don't know.
So that was brought up in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's what I put those words in because that's in my experience. These are non-negotiable principles, and I think Paul brought it up at one point, and someone else did, and we had left it in there.
Yeah. I don't know, just kind of jumped out at me.
If someone isn't behaving in alignment with the value system set for the town, then it becomes if this is what you want to do, and these are the principles or the standards by which you do business, and someone's not behaving in accordance with that, then you act on that in some way.
Well, like,
Because
what
it's
are we
not,
going to banish them?
it depends. I mean, an employee could have corrective action, right? If it's a supplier and they're acting unethically, we could choose not to use them anymore.
Okay.
Some of it may not be enforced, as you're worried. Your concern is, can you really enforce it across the whole community?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. For the purpose, I mean, I'm okay if you take out non-negotiable for the purposes of this. Paul, you had brought this up too. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would think I would raise a similar question, but I think when the board discussed it, that Ken was also adamant that non-negotiable remain, if I recall correctly, that I think the board really wanted definitive use of that phrase. Because I think over time, the principles may evolve. We're sort of in the middle of that right now with some of the social things that are taking place in society right now, but I can go either way.
Yeah, I can, for this briefing, I can go either way.
I mean, I look at it, I can fully agree with kind of both sides, and I do like that there's, a firmness to it, but I definitely see the point of it also does come across a little bit harsh. So is there some sort of middle ground on the words where we can find another set of words that will, be as firm but not so harsh? I probably not articulating that very well, but in principle, I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, I think it's a firm statement. I mean, I think we should, if there's another way to say it, we'll just highlight it for now. Peter, was that kind of the last thought that you had, was just on that?
The only other thing is maybe replacing address with define in the vision line right there.
Yeah. I like that a little bit better.
Oh, no, I was talking about the one above it in vision. But yeah, maybe. Or maybe I was thinking of define above and maybe outline where you just put it.
I got to put them on the paper, and then
I would just use, honestly, if you want to change it to define, I would use it in both places. I think you're trying to do more than just make an outline for values.
That's fair.
On where you have
I think
outline,
I like define. Yeah, I think I like define better than
I don't like outline.
So before I do
you want to move what Deirdre wants to move around, and then we can go through the content?
Yep. So I did that pretty quick, Deirdre, but that's what that was the flow you were looking for, right? So the overview with the 5 bullets.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So
and on the I don't know about, and again, this is kind of along the same lines of the non-negotiable, so I'm okay to leave it, but I was just thinking that the critical first step might be a critical first step instead. I mean, I guess it's a first step, it's so I don't know.
You could just say a critical step and get rid of first,
Yeah, true.
or
is a critical step.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
can you go back,
I didn't
please?
mean to.
Let's hold there
Yeah, I
for a
didn't mean
minute.
to. I didn't mean to scroll there.
So
Rogue
I'm
mouse.
feeling like when moving this around, there's redundancy on this slide now. We could just get rid of. You chose to take the definition of vision and values and move it to the next slide. So I don't know. Setting goals and aspirations is a critical step to define the path forward, but I don't know that, is that already covered in the fact that these are the guiding principles bullet?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if that definition of what a vision and values is, if that should really be up front somewhere, not part of the tail.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then where you have should be reviewed and updated periodically.
Yep.
So
That might be part of process.
no, I'm just typically they may be updated, but a vision is kind of a long-term vision,
Mm-hmm.
and values are something that you typically hold fast to. Okay, you don't change and say, oh, my values have changed. This is the values that you want for the town. So while you update goals and things like that on a regular basis, I'm not sure that bringing this idea of reviewing and updating periodically vision and values is the right context for this briefing. And so it's more that I would almost say the expectation is the values and vision established. And then the next bullet is a vision statement supported by a list of guiding values is the output of the process. And that they provide they provide I don't know if framework's the right word. You can help me out here, Paul, because you articulated this last time. It's like a framework against which you sanity check your goals and things as they are updated year to year. They kind of they help drive that, but you wouldn't set a goal that's in conflict with those vision and values, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much this briefing wants to get into the goals part of it, because those are things that each committee, each board, each town department sets typically on an annual basis, and that's not what this is.
Mm-hmm. So you think that we don't even need to say anything about reviewing?
Paul, do you have a thought on how to tie that together, or whether it should be?
Yeah, like I said, we ventured into goals, and we in those two last bullets, and maybe it comes after as opposed to before the vision and values, and because the first three bullets are talking about the establishment of the values and vision,
Right.
and then the goals that comes after.
I think it's important to say why, though. I mean, that's kind of why we're doing it.
Well, could you go to slide number 6 again for a minute, please?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where I think it comes in, is that you've got the adoption in the goal setting and strategic planning.
Mm-hmm.
So as everybody does their goal setting and strategic planning, they're doing it with these in mind. And as they execute their business day to day, they're doing it with the vision and values in mind. So I would almost, if you go back to slide 3.
Yep.
No, yeah. I mean, it almost feels to me like those last 2 bullets should go away. It should be deleted,
away.
and that definition of vision and values should come back up on this chart to give it some context, because you're defining it at the end after you explain everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that was
So
Okay.
I think I know what you're saying, and the flow, I think that's working. This goes back in.
yeah,
Mhm.
that was the definition that we started with.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was the definition we used in the survey at the
Mhm.
public input. So I don't think
Okay.
I don't think it's part of the process. I think it's the context and the definition.
Okay.
That was my thought. Paul, where's your head on this?
Yeah, and I think that first bullet I changed. I just changed to an active voice as opposed to passive. I would say the Board of Selectmen formed a Vision and Values Committee. It just sounds better. It sounds more active.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Yeah. I know what you're saying. I'll clean up I'm just gonna go quick now for us, and I'll
It's okay.
do the spell check and the moving later.
You could just get rid of the to establish a common vision and values for the
Right.
town.
Okay. I skipped typing,
Pressure's on.
and I don't really. I'm not a big edit live. You ought to see my handwritten notes when I have to edit stuff. All right. Yeah, that reads much cleaner, Paul. I agree. Actually, I think I like the way that all reads.
Do you like the word fundamental as opposed to non-negotiable? Does that help? Is that a middle ground? I don't know.
Or guiding.
I'm
Guide
okay with
something. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
the firm principles, the fundamental principles, the
Core
core
principles.
principles. Yeah. I'm
Core,
fine
I
with
like
that.
core. Core or guiding.
I like core better than guiding.
Okay.
I do too.
All
I
right.
mean, I do like fundamental. I mean, I do like the non-negotiable. You know what I mean? I think it's bold and it's firm. But I think people can interpret that as being off-putting too. So I think core is a good.
Are you okay with that, Paul?
Yeah. I think it
Okay.
And I think when you if you read it out loud, the town values will articulate the core principles or standards by which we do business. They define what we believe in, what we know to be right, and how we want to be known to others. I think it does read, and it's it's still a. I mean, we're not solving COVID here, but it's still a firm statement.
Right. Yeah, I think it's important to preserve the firmness, but somehow, I don't know.
Okay. Why don't we go on and we can come back and see how we feel about it when we're.
Or did I just update that on the wrong slide? I did.
No.
All right,
So
let me go fix that.
No, I think
Come
you
on.
did it right.
I'll
no,
get
that's
that.
correct. Now
Oh, if it
go,
was on this one.
oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, well, we got to get rid of it off the other one I copied in. Okay. Now this is the corrected. All right, so now we have to go back to this one, and we've already used this, so those
Just
go away.
delete that.
Yep. I mean, this can be a short and sweet slide. I mean,
Mhm.
And then the committee met numerous times and adopted a draft, or
And instead of saying to form the vision statement and values list, I would say to form the vision and values statements. There, it's not, you already got vision there. No, never mind.
no, the vision and value statements.
Yes. I don't know, list just seems really,
Yeah, that does seem kind of cheap.
shopping.
Paul, you okay with this?
Yep, yes, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. And then the stated visions and values. I played around with this a couple of ways, but I kind of liked that it could all stay on one side and it didn't necessarily look cramped to me after a while. But again, I probably had 7 or 8 different versions of this. So I'm okay if you guys think there's a better way to present it, obviously.
Fine.
And I like the 2 of them together.
I'm okay with it.
I thought by doing this too, because we had that discussion of, you know, what's important. And again, people are going to read these as top couple is important, but I think having it blended together is, you know, they're all important. Otherwise they wouldn't be on there.
Mhm.
Okay. Next steps. I feel like, I'm not sure if I overstepped bounds, but I kind of felt like these were important things. So,
So a couple of them I feel like are in the, again, the passive tense. You know what I mean? Like, I think they should be more.
Yeah.
So I would say like the board, maybe, I don't know, the Board of Selectmen should formally adopt the committee report should be presented at town meeting with Board of Selectmen support. The adopted vision and values should be posted.
When
Well,
you say the committee report should be presented, we're getting into the passive voice again. Whereas
okay, right.
he
That-
has
so-
present the committee report.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one, you could just say the Board of Selectmen formally adopts the vision and values statements presented by the committee's vision and values statements presented by the committee.
Yeah.
I delete the word today. I don't think it's necessary.
And then, so at the next
and
bullet, are you
I would
okay
take
with,
this up. I don't think formally needs to be used again.
are you okay with what the content is on the sub bullets there, Paul?
Yeah. I think the second one should be the Board of Selectmen presents the committee report at town meeting, or present the committee report at who do we?
Or the committee presents the committee report.
Who would present the committee report at town meeting? The committee?
Isn't that what usually happens? Or
Yeah,
would the board present it?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. It's one or the other.
Yeah, I got the, from what Mike was saying the last time, I got the impression that it was the committees that would go ahead and present it at town meeting. So maybe the board support is
then say the committee presents its report at town meeting with the Board of Selectmen support. You know, make it active.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Presents.
is this redundant? Is this redundant to have that?
I don't think so.
Because we've already the board will adopt it in the first bullet.
Yeah.
Take it out.
Paul, you think it's redundant? Leave it in, take it out.
I could go either way. But I think you can take it out. And I'd add the word "the" before the committee, because you have the Board of Selectmen above it, and then I'd say the committee presents the report to town meeting.
Yeah.
As opposed to that.
The committee presents.
The report to
Oh,
meeting.
Yep.
Yep. And then the penultimate bullet, the adoption of the vision and values, I'd say adopt as opposed to adoption. I just see the word
Yeah.
adopt. Adopt the
Well,
vision.
how about flip it upside down? All town boards, committees, and municipal departments adopt.
Do we need the all
this first,
emphasized the
Janet?
way it is, or just say
Yeah.
all?
Yeah, I think you could just say town boards and committees. I don't know what the all does.
Well, I don't, yeah.
And then the last bullet, just say the Board of Selectmen reviews the vision and values statements on a periodic basis, at least every 10 years.
Mhm.
Do you think 10 years is too long?
No,
They're
I mean-
supposed to be. They're supposed to be long-term things. Was my impression of that, and honestly, I don't remember where I saw a 10-year thing, but that was a thought that came up. We could just say on a periodic
it
basis
says,
too,
it
but
says at least once every 10 years.
It's
Vision in my experience is usually a 5 to 15 year thing, more commonly 10 to 15, like where do you really want to be?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, values, if they change, it's usually a glacial change.
Yeah, I mean, the parallel is the town charter that's reviewed at least once every 10 years. So I think the symmetry is good.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Do you want to flip through them one more time?
Sure. I'll just go slow because I'm going to read them too, and then I'll check before.
What do you think
All right,
about
I think we
moving
get
the
everybody.
participants list to the end? To make it the last slide instead, because I don't,
That's up to you guys. When we met last time, you said you wanted to introduce the committee at the beginning.
yeah, no, I know, but just looking at it this week, it just
It's
seems,
wherever it is, it's a flasher, right?
yeah.
But
Right.
you're right. It's probably better at the end. It takes up a valuable spot in number 2. So I think you can throw it to the very end.
Yeah, it's more there for reference.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm okay.
The only thing I would say here is that the 4th bullet is not really a sentence. It's a fragment, whereas the other 3 above it are all a complete thought.
You could say the vision and the values and vision statements set the framework, if you want to make it a sentence, or just the statements.
See, the problem is the sentence begins with the values and vision, and then below it you have vision, then values. There should be symmetry, right? I mean,
Yeah,
think we
we're
talked-
a little bit all over on this one.
yeah, and then even in the first two bullets, you got vision and values, and then second bullet is values and vision.
I don't, would it be a big deal if we just made them all say vision and values, even though the committee was called values and vision? Because that's the order.
Of
Yeah.
magnitude, yeah.
Or you leave the first one at values and vision and then just change the rest of them back to vision and values.
Do you notice? I just noticed something. We start out the bullet with vision, values and vision committee, vision and values established. The third bullet says a vision statement supported by a list of guiding principles, the output of this process. And then it goes back into vision and values. So if we have a single bullet for vision, should we have a single bullet for values?
I think, well, he's got them combined because
think
it's
they're
the vision
combined.
supported by, but I think they're, if your vision changes, your values may not, right? I mean, you may achieve a certain vision and then you may set a new one, but you may hold the same core values. So I'm just wondering if we should just delete the third bullet altogether, because it's kind of covered in the fourth one.
Right. When we talked about the fundamental core principles.
And the second one, it's covered by number 2 and number 3 already.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Does that
Aaron,
work better, Paul?
Yeah, I think that's a little better.
Okay.
The vision is spelled
Yeah.
incorrectly in the first line. All the way up, yeah.
Yep. We'll spell check it before it goes out.
Hmm.
F7's my friend.
Why is vision and values capitalized in the second bullet?
Just because that's how he typed it.
No, but I'm just telling
That's how I
it's,
Yeah.
it's not consistent with the next.
Not any emphasis if that's the
Okay, no, I'm just yeah, doing
consistency matters.
okay.
All right. Pretty straightforward process. Any comments or we move on?
Well,
No, I think
I
that's,
think it says the committee was formed with representatives from town government, town management, and resident representatives. So maybe it should just say in residence, or are we using representatives too many times?
true.
Yeah.
Good point.
but we should go with the active voice. Say the Board of Selectmen formed the committee with representatives from town government.
Yeah. And residents, does that work?
Mhm.
Mhm.
The second one's in the passive voice now. We could just say the committee. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah. Going back to the earlier bullet, isn't town management part of town government? It says form the committee with representatives from town government, town management, and residents. Unless you just want to say with representatives from the Board of Selectmen, town management, and residents,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it was just okay.
You need the word "the" back in.
And then I think the next bullet could be active voice. You know, the committee conducted a public survey, 2 public input sessions, and held working session working sessions to form the vision and value statements.
And statements doesn't need to be capitalized.
And working sessions.
Thank you.
Right now we're missing a verb.
Held.
2 public input
public.
sessions, plural.
Yeah. Yeah, it's input sessions should be plural. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so now you need a verb before working sessions.
Right.
Conducted.
Yeah.
Oh, we already said conducted.
Yeah.
I was just going to say the committee conducted a public survey, 2 public input sessions, and working sessions to form the vision.
Okay.
And does
Fine.
that work?
Yes.
Yeah. Drop the word held. Yeah. Okay.
Save. Again, with no changes there, but
Should it be statements in that first bullet? The board formally adopts the vision and value statements presented
Yeah.
by the committee.
The third bullet, the voice is wrong.
Yep. The adopted vision and value statements are posted.
That's passive. The town, who's going to post them, Paul?
Yeah.
I guess it'd be town administration, right? I mean,
Town administration posts the adopted vision and values.
yeah.
Right. I mean, if we're just going to have a list, can we just put the whole list? Well, I guess it's website and buildings. I don't know. I mean, we could put those together, but I guess I see the reason to have them
Right.
distinct.
But for example, the library's not listed. So that's the danger of listing the building. Right. And either we
Just take it off.
or just put municipal buildings.
Yeah, and take the rest of them off.
Yeah.
yep. Can't believe I forgot the
'Cause
library.
you
Don't
have
tell them.
you have the you have the town halls too, right? The historic town hall buildings and
Right.
is there anywhere else you would post it, Paul? And anywhere outside or?
You get no, I think you got the physical buildings and then you got the virtual, i.e. the internet, the website.
Yeah.
Can we just put it as the one? Can we just do it as the one line? Then say that it's going to be published in the following locations: the town of Chelmsford website and all municipal buildings, and be done with it.
I think it just like you have it.
I think the way you have it is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I like how you have
Okay.
it.
And the next bullet, town boards, committees, and municipal departments, should it be utilized as opposed to adopt? Or is adopt the right word?
Either utilize, adopt, or align with the vision and values. It's about alignment, right?
Right, exactly, right. And adopt means they'd almost like be just, saying, yeah, that's fine, and not
Signing
align.
off on it, yeah.
Does that work?
I think that's better.
Is the T in town underlined?
Yes, it is.
That's a rogue. Somebody click Control U at some point.
And then the end of that sentence should be, the word with shouldn't be there. That
right here, align.
align, yeah.
Oh, okay, right. When you read it doesn't make sense. When I first typed it out, it sounded right, but when you read the whole sentence, you're right.
Why wouldn't they would align with it?
Yeah, but unless you'd say town boards, committees, and municipal departments, goals setting and strategic planning should align with the vision and value statement. You know what I'm saying? That the order, it just
Yeah.
doesn't fit the way it's written there.
In municipal departments conduct goal setting and strategic planning in alignment with the vision and values? Or is that getting off of where you want it to be?
Town boards, committees, and municipal departments.
Conduct goal setting and strategic planning in alignment with the vision and values.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you want to just with the visions and values or with the vision and value statements?
We should be consistent. If we're using statements, then we should use statements.
Yep.
So you got to add statements to the third bullet then.
Yep.
Spell vision right.
What if I don't want to? Just kidding.
Go up to the third bullet.
You know what happened is I must have clicked accept it at some point as it was, because it's not correcting me when I rely on those squiggly red lines to correct my typing.
The town administration, the vision is misspelled and you need to add statement. In the first bullet, vision is misspelled. It should be statements plural on that third bullet.
Okay.
All right, I'll give it the 1/2. I'll spell check everything. I'll make sure that wherever we say visions and values, other than this first one, is the same. And then again, I got to go uncapitalize a whole bunch of them. So
what do you think? Wait, can we go back?
Yeah.
What do you think about what we believe in, comma, what we know to be right, comma, and how we want to be known by others? Like, just add a comma after right.
All right, we good with this one? Okay, I spelled right there. Okay.
So before you start changing all those, should they be capitalized in this? Or are they small?
I'll go with a committee vote on that one.
I guess I don't really care. I just liked that they popped out as capital words. What's grammatically correct?
What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think they should be capitalized.
Okay.
Well, that's not a statement. But we should say statement there, I guess.
Plural.
Plural. Does start to feel a little redundant, but.
the values statement here as well. It's consistent.
Think that quest and future path is redundant?
No,
Okay.
I put those in because I got comments to have both of them, so I would just leave it.
Okay.
All right, you heading up. So just lock it and the alarm with my code. Yeah. And all the lights are off. Okay. Yeah. I'll take a look at it and see what it has to do. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Should have done a find and replace, but I think this way at least we can look at it and make sure it looks visually right.
Okay.
Yeah. I personally feel like it's better than what we started with. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm good with it.
Good.
So
do we? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just confirm that Aaron and Deirdre, you're going to do the bulk of the presentation, or one of you.
Yeah,
Just-
hopefully Aaron.
Yep, sorry. Again, I'm fine with going to do it. It's a little bum. I'm a little bummed that it's not live. I feel like live is a better option for this, but you
Oh,
know,
we got.
doing it over that way. I mean, I'm comfortable going through it. I think we should all chime in where appropriate, but I'm okay with starting off the conversation. And you know, if there are questions, we would all, you know, take the opportunity to answer questions.
Okay. Paul, do you have anything else?
And if somebody else wants to do it, I don't want to hog it either. But
No.
I'm comfortable doing it.
Thank you for pulling this together.
Absolutely.
I think the feedback today was good. I mean, you guys sent me with the framework, so but it feels right. Everything in here feels right after flipping through it.
So under the assumption that we're not going to be meeting again in the near term, after the Board of Selectmen presentation, is everybody okay if I just send this presentation to the clerk and tell them to post it as the minutes for this meeting?
Yeah.
So that it's
Yeah.
there with the committee notes as well?
Yep.
Okay.
And would we just use the same, other than editing the last slide, would use the same, the fifth slide would use the same deck to do the town meeting?
Yes.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think you have to create another presentation. We just use this one.
Okay. Perfect.
Any other comments on the presentation? Okay, the next thing on the agenda was public comment, but I don't see any public. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Okay,
Second that.
all in favor?
All right.
All right, thanks everyone.
Someday we'll get to do this in person again.
So Aaron, this presentation, either I can send it to her or you, but Christina needs to have it by like Thursday morning at the latest.
Okay.
So
I mean, it's live. It's live now. So when I do it, do you guys want a copy of it, or you're good with what we did now?
I'm fine with what we have right now. Paul,
Okay.
can we distribute it to the committee as long as there's no discussion?
Yes.
Okay. So can you do that, Aaron?
That, yeah.
And then
So I'll send it out, and if anybody sees anything, just reply to one, you know, just to me, if there's anything glaringly that got missed, and I'll fix it, and then I'll send it to Christina.
okay.
So we'll plan on doing that by end of day tomorrow, if that works for you guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks very much.
Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
It's great work with all of you again. I appreciate all the help, and this was fun.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Aye.